everybody. Good evening. I hope all of you guys are doing very well. Now, I want to begin very fast. What is very fast? That is not even proper English. I want to begin quickly, but before I do, I'd very quickly want a mic check and a visibility check. So, if you could please write in the chat box as to whether I am both audible and visible. And once that is done, I will be starting with, I'm sure it's a much awaited, the fact that you guys have already been in the waiting list, queued up, tells me how important this is. So I also want to press into the importance of it and begin the very moment. But before that, of course, I would need these two checks. So I'm just going to take a peep in the chat box and come right back. Please write if I am audible and visible, both of those two things. Good evening, everybody. So, well, I can, of course, see all the chat coming up with the hello in the good evening, but I would still want a confirmation, a thumbs up, a heads up, anything will just work. For as long as I know that you're able to hear me, we will simply begin. Okay, all right. Now that I have a confirmation from you guys, thank you very much for doing that. Let us begin. Now, on and off, you must have seen that in the previous months and weeks, we've been coming up time and again with strategy videos. And all of these strategy videos are only closing on the days, right? So we did a 100-day just a couple of weeks back. We're now today doing a 90-day video. We've done maybe, so many other strategy videos previously also. Now, the reason why we keep doing these videos is so that you guys get to understand the importance of how much practicing is important, that you do not take it for granted, and you do not lose sight of the fact that there are just that many days left. And if there is any bit of information that just clicks with you, or you feel that, okay, this is not something that I'm doing, I need to inculcate this as well, this is what the intention is. Something that I say in each of my videos, the videos that we do are not for you to copy from the first letter till the last. That's not what you have to do. Customization, tailor fitted accordingly. Do you think that you will just go to the tailor is going to fit, is going to stitch up one size and that is going to fit everybody? No. You will have to customize it as per your own preference, as per your own liking, as per your own choices. So whatever we discussed today are the kind of things that you must make sure that, they're included. How are they going to be included will be your decision. So just because it is coming from a faculty, and I speak this for each of the faculties that come with the strategy video, it is just not me. Please make sure that you're able to utilize it and you're able to inculcate it in your existing plan and not change the plan, drop that altogether and pick this up. This is not how it works. And of course, there are going to be some very important revelations also that I'm going to be doing today. Now, you might be hearing of this a lot already, but if we have been able to pen that down and chart it for you, highlight it for you, which means it's important, and that if you have not been giving importance to this, you should start. And with that, let us begin. I know the heartbeats must be racing. I don't know at what speed. I can't even begin to think what speed it is. And with each passing day, with we getting one step closer to the examination, the jitters must be twisting your stomachs. There must be butterflies for some. There must be, I don't know, agonizing pain for some. There must be some mysterious ticklish feeling that must be going around, because you are now closer than ever before for the one day that you've been waiting the entire year for. But you also have to decide that that one day is going to be the decision making day. It is going to be that day which is going to help you chart out what the couple of years ahead are going to look like, what your career is going to look like. So it's just not a day. It is the most important and the very milestone which is now going to shape or reshape your future altogether. And which is why we cannot take that for granted. So if at this point of time also you seem to be tied up, you're distracted, there are other things that are taking your focus, please make sure that you realign your goals, because you have to make sure that this exam is something that you pass with flying colors. Because if this is not happening, we will have to have a lot of plan Bs and plan Cs, which are, of course, again, they're also very secured options, but they will never get us the dream college that we want for. And that little feeling will always stay with you, and you will always feel the nudge that I was wanting to get into something and I could not. So we don't want that nudge of regret to be in us, and which is why discipline, sincerity, dedication, commitment. If these four are your mottos, they are your mantras for now on, going forward, from now onwards, you are on the right track, my dear. And with that, let us begin with what is it that we have. So today I come up with 90 days to CLAT strategy. You are now to shift gears. And I literally mean that. All this while you've been onto a practice mode, but now you need to understand that gone were the days of you doing extensive practice. You are now supposed to get onto some very heavy duty stuff, which are, of course, the mocks, the PYQs. You're supposed to look, I mean, you're supposed to, take a leap from all of the RSMs that you've been practicing. Does that go to say RSMs करना ही बंद कर दे? नहीं, वो सब आप करोगे, but अब आप over and above और भी चीजें करोगे, because we had the good first 6 months for us to be able to get a nice flare. By now, everybody's accuracy should be at a point from where you are only to take the upward climb, irrespective of how the mocks come out to be. I know at this point of time, apne mocks bhi bade difficult se aa rahe. They're not those easy peasy mocks. They're not those very, they don't give us a very happy feeling. There's a bittersweet feeling har bar mock dene ke baad pata nahi kya hoga dekhenge types. That is what is happening. But this is how it's going to be. And with all things that have happened last year, CLAT is going to be a tad bit tougher this year. That's my hunch. Again, there is no guarantee. What if CLAT is trying to, do the mind games? CLAT, the consortium must be thinking कि ये लोग तो सब expect कर रहे होंगे कि हम लोग tough paper देंगे, चलो easy दे देते. Because दोनों ही गड़बड़ है. एक moderate paper ही होता है जो हमारी sanity को intact रखता है. When it is too easy, we feel so excited about the paper that we just do whatever and come. If it is too difficult, we are barely able to do anything. So both of the extremes are not a good idea. Moderation में CLAT देगा नहीं. CLAT is not going to do that because they know here is where, the students get very cautious. They get very wary. So they want you to make these little deliberate mistakes, and which is why they will be making paper on the extremes. And which is why for us to be able to be prepared and for us to be able to perform, we need to make sure that all of those things are intact. So let's begin with understanding what exactly are we to do in these last 3 months, the last lap that we have now. So you will get heavy on the mocks. That is what is meant by shifting the gears. Go heavy, and let's see what our 3-month playbook is going to look like. Now, very quickly, I'd like to show you guys what are the kinds of things that we are going to be covering in this session so that you have the agenda list in front of you. You know what are the things that we are going to give coverage to. But before that, a little bit of a pep talk. Beginning with, all right, guys, it's just 90 days. I am not even counting those days of December, because those 7 days are going to just go in thin air. They're going to go like woof. You wouldn't even know what has happened. You'd be like, it was just day 1, and suddenly you're going to, the moment you go to rewind, or the moment you think that, arey yaar, day 1 tha, you're already sitting on day 5. And then 2 days later, it's a paper. So let's not even think what December has for us. So which means you have exactly 3 months. And these 3 months are now going to be the deciding factor for your destiny, for your future, for your career. So let's begin. The one thing that is now going to separate you from all of the toppers or from anybody else who is in the game and has their game plan ready is going to be how well you strategize these 90 days. So all that is going to separate us from the biggest day of your life. Like we always say, CLAT is not a knowledge test. It is not going to test your knowledge. It is going to test how quick, how creatively smart, and how strategic you are in those 2 hours. Because nobody in those 2 hours is going to get a 120 on 120. You could be somebody, who's shy of a lot of topics right now. But it is what you do in those 120 minutes smartly and confidently that is what is going to help you decide where you're going to go. यही आज डिस्कस करेंगे. 90 days I know is too short a window for us to be able to do everything. Would we be able to prepare everything for ourselves? No. So what should we do? यही तो बात करेंगे आज. 90 दिन में क्या करना है आपको? But before that, what I'm going to do is we're going to start with a weekly, daily, and a monthly roadmap. So these are going to have some agendas. These are going to have some triggers. कि आपको एक दिन में इतना करना है, आपको एक वीक में इतना करना है और आपको मंथ में इतना करना है. And ये करना है, guys. अब इसको तुम प्लस माइनस कितना भी कर सकते हो, माइनस नॉट सो मच, प्लस डेफिनेटली. Or if you just do so much, you'll be sorted for the next 3 months. We are going to understand a topper's exact schedule sketch. We are going to know what is it that he does. We are going to understand some tricks to be able to boost scores, right? Because from here, once you have reached the 80s, line, always know 80 85 के बाद ना 5 नंबर 6 नंबर नहीं बढ़ता, एक एक दो दो, कभी नेगेटिव्स कम हो गए तो बढ़ गया, कभी एक क्वेश्चन सही हो गया, ऐसे ही बढ़ता है. Very slow the growth rate becomes, but it is these one mark that are going to take you forward. And now there should always be every mock wherein you are only getting better from the last time. There is no looking back. We are going to understand how to be handling the weak sections. We are going to know how to transform our exam attitude altogether. Why the mocks and PYQs are actually your best friends. And the most importantly, how to get serious. Very, very serious about the CLAT paper altogether. So let's first begin with why these 90 days matter. A lot of you must be thinking 3 महीना यार, अभी तो 3 महीना है. अरे 3 महीना नहीं है वो आपको लग रहा है 3 महीना. जिस तरीके से 6 महीना चला गया और पता भी नहीं चला, अभी 3 महीना और जल्दी जाएगा. It is just 1/3 of what we had. The 6 months are gone. Now, in these 6 months, what should have you been doing, or the kind of things that you should have been able to get a grip on, should have been the attempts and the conceptual clarity. Which is why हमने first 6 months को learning phase हमेशा बताया है. Now, if somebody who's starting now, because of course there are a lot of people who want to start in crash mode, which is also okay, which means what you have to do is you will have to shrink this and go 2x onto the speed. If you're starting now, maybe, give 15-20 days of your time to be able to practice, get a grip on all the fundamental concepts of it, and then straight away, just go bazooka on the mocks. The other ones, you all had 6 months to be able to get the fundamentals right. At this point of time, there should be no fundamental chasing. राइट. तो इस समय हम लोगों को ये नहीं देखना कि यार डीआई में परसेंटेज लगता कैसे है, उसके शॉर्ट ट्रिक्स क्या होते हैं. यू शुड बी नोइंग ऑल ऑफ दिस. If you don't know these, then maybe give yourself 1 week of very serious study time and get all this sorted with. उसके बाद you can't, because अगर आप ये वाला जो फेज है, which is our practice phase, अगर आप इसमें फंडामेंटल्स क्लियर कर रहे हो तो प्रैक्टिस कब करोगे? क्लियरली वी कांट डू इट आफ्टर द क्लैट पेपर ना. करना तो पहले ही है, और उसको भी करने में समय तो लगेगा भाई, एनालिसिस भी करना है, सब कुछ करना है. इट्स अ टाइम कंज्यूमिंग प्रोसेस. It is not something wherein you just give an assignment and you're done with. There is so much that happens after the assignment. Giving the assignment is just the start. So you need time, and your brain can only function for a limited set of hours. If you think कि नहीं मैं तो कितना भी पढ़ लूंगा हो जाएगा, नहीं हो सकता. CLAT वो cramming वाला पेपर ही नहीं है. It's not an IIT paper. It's not a NEET paper wherein there is so much theory. अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं मैं आज इंग्लिश में 50 क्वेश्चंस लगा लूंगा, मेरा हो जाएगा, 50 पैसेज तक आपका दिमाग काम ही नहीं करेगा गाइस. 4 पैसेज पास, 6 के बाद द ब्रेन इज आल्सो गोइंग टू से दैट डूड चिल, गिव मी सम रेस्ट बिफोर आई हैव अ बर्नआउट. And if you force your brain to do something against its choice, it will show up in the questions, the accuracy, everything will be doomed. So you can't force yourself to do more than what your mind is endured to, and which is why the stamina is important. So until now हम लोग क्या कर रहे थे? लर्निंग फेज में थे. अब हमें अगले 3 महीने क्या करना है? हमने जो जो लर्न किया है अब उसको शार्पन करना है. अब हमें वी हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट दीज एटलीस्ट आर द काइंड्स ऑफ थिंग्स दैट वी नो, बिकॉज यही हमारी नैया पार कराएगी. राइट. सो नाउ आई जस्ट वांटेड टू टेक एन एनालॉजी ऑफ, वी आर थिंक लाइक अ बॉक्सर. राइट. अगर किसी बॉक्सर को देखा है, now the training happens all the year, but right before the match, about 2 months before the match, he is not training or learning new techniques. He is now improvising, gaining expertise, gaining ground, gaining a lot of strength on those expertise only. So this is what you have to do at this point of time. See, change is always welcome, but change ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि एकदम से सब चीजें ही बदल जाए. It should not catch you by surprise. You need to be somebody who still has to be grounded in the efforts, right? So now before the fight, what should be your attitude? Sparing, simulation, speed and stamina, which in the CLAT real life for you is mocks, PYQs, analysis and pressure training. Pressure training मतलब time bound sectionals करनी है आपको. Now What should your weekly strategy be? सबसे पहले तो सबसे importantly आप करोगे mocks. If in a day you're doing mocks, you don't have the time to be able to practice the other sectionals, it's okay. Because mocks has taken care of the number of questions that you should have practiced in a day. But gearing up now, you have to make sure हफ्ते में आप कितना कर रहे हो, कम से कम 3 से 4 mock. 3. See, we already have 2 mocks that are happening per week, every Wednesday and every Sunday. I'm sure you must have had enough number of backlogs. Mock में भी तो होंगे जो नहीं दिए होंगे, उनको करो. Divide your day in such a way, divide your week, sorry, in such a way that you are able to not do it consecutively, but break दे दे के कर रहे हो, पर करो उसको. It's very important that you do those mocks. Not for marks collection, but for data collection, as it is said. Because analysis करोगे तब तो अपनी गलती पाओगे. आप लोग को बैठ के हर 5 मॉक्स जो आपने किए उसको कोलेट करके अपनी गलतियां देखनी है. Are you repeating the same mistakes or are you making newer mistakes? At this point of time, guys, you have to stop making mistakes. ये एरर लॉगिंग तो मैंने आपको कब बोली थी करने के लिए. अब आपको मैच करना पड़ेगा व्हाट इज द कंसिस्टेंट मिस्टेक दैट यू कीप मेकिंग एंड देन प्रैक्टिस स्पेसिफिकली. सो अभी तक मैं आपको क्या बोलती थी, मॉक करो और आरएसएम की प्रैक्टिसेस करो, रोज का सेक्शन लगाओ, सारा कुछ है. नहीं, अब आप क्या करोगे, मॉक्स करोगे, जो गलती निकली है उस गलती को सुधारने के लिए स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चंस करोगे. तो अगर मुझे पता है कि मेरा मेन आइडिया गड़बड़ हो रहा है, then that very day I will practice 30 odd questions, but only of main ideas. Now I don't want to practice reading comprehensions. What good am I getting there? I'm already good at it. Now I have to make sure that my weak areas are what are getting better. And ये एक मॉक से नहीं, कम से कम 4 से 5 मॉक के एनालिसिस से पता चलेगा, right? Now please make sure that every mock understand it's an x-ray. Where did you lose mark? Time, concentration, weak concept. आपके अलग अलग एरर लॉग्स होने चाहिए. एक तो आपको मिलती है मैक कॉपी. While the MAC copy is a data collection which is going to tell you your score in your time, but it is not going to evaluate you on the subjective lines. Concentration कहाँ गया, distraction कहाँ हुआ, मन कौन सा नहीं हुआ, genre कौन सा फंसा, ये कब करोगे? ये सब जरूरी है. You will have to do it, and these are the kinds of things that you will have to do for yourself, not anybody else. So first thing is you will have to get ahead on the mocks. Second, the PYQs, which are called the previous year questions. Now solve at least the last 5-year CLAT papers, not once but twice. एक को करो, फिर एक को 1.5 महीने बाद करो वापस से, कौन सा क्वेश्चंस याद रहने वाले. There will be a slight recollection, but then see, has your approach changed, or are you still in the same old practice of it? Go way back. See, the reason why we tell you to do the PYQs is because you have to understand the style of writing and the style of statement formation that the consortium does. If you are an LE student, you know how we write. सबका लिखने का एक ढंग होता है, नहीं होता. कितनी बार आप कोई नॉवल पढ़ रहे हो तो आप उस पर्टिकुलर ऑथर का बार बार पढ़ते पढ़ते यू गेट इन सिंक विद इट, समझ में आने लगता है, बिकॉज नाउ यू नो द स्टाइल ऑफ राइटिंग. दिस इज व्हाट यू हैव टू गेट accustomed to, because if the style of writing doesn't match your wavelength, you will read that statement 2 times 3 times for it to be able to get into you. वो grasp करने में, वो dilute होने में ही आइडिया टाइम लेगा. फिर तो गए, उतना टाइम तो है ही नहीं. 120 मिनट, 120 क्वेश्चन, क्या क्या कर लेंगे उस 120 में भगवान भी नहीं जानता. ट्रीट देम लाइक ट्रेजर मैप्स. पैटर्न, रिपीट, क्वेश्चन लॉजिक इज रिसाइकल्ड. हमेशा याद रखना, अगर आप पास पेपर्स ही देखोगे ना, कितने लोगों ने अभी तक पास पेपर का एनालिसिस किया है बताओ? किसी ने भी नहीं किया होगा. क्या आपने पास पेपर में इस फ्रीक्वेंसी को ऐड किया है कि कितने मेन आइडियाज आते हैं, कितने अजम्पशंस आते हैं, कितने इन्फ्रेंस आते हैं? करो तो. I have so many students who come to me asking, मैम पैराडॉक्स नहीं हो रहा है, मिमिक द क्वेश्चन टाइप, पैरेलल रीजनिंग ही नहीं हो रहा है. अरे एक बार पास पेपर्स उठा के तो देखो, सीआर में कितनी बार पूछा है पैरेलल रीजनिंग. See, it's important because it's a part of the syllabus. That's why you are being taught. Should you practice it and waste all your energy fretting over it? No. जब पूछा ही नहीं तो क्यों करना है, और एक क्वेश्चन के लिए इतना दिमाग क्यों खराब करना है? your emotional equilibrium at this point of time is very important, guys. उसका status को मत break करना, because with each coming day इतनी anxiety होगी, इतना ज्यादा overwhelm होगा, इतना existential crisis होगा कि उसके तो एकदम ऐसी की तैसी हो जाएगी अभी. So you have to make sure that you're being careful. Weekly. Now, what are you going to do continuing on the weekly? Sectional workouts. Please करो, dedicated time frame में करना बहुत जरूरी है. Now, see, when we have the classes, we do it at length, because there we have to understand where exactly are we faulting. बट व्हेन यू प्रैक्टिस यू डू इट इन द टाइम. नो, अगर आपने सोचा है कि मुझे 25 मिनट देना है इंग्लिश को, देन डू 4 passages, 5 passages in 25 minutes. Do 24 questions. See how you are going, because you have to be able to finish it. There can be no way out otherwise. Dedicate focus drills per week for the week sections. There should be days, or maybe time slots in the day wherein you're going to be like, okay, this is my week section training time. You're going to do it, right? And you'll do it gradually. So why not? So, for example, if there are 4 passages in a row for CR, I want to do it under 30 minutes. Let me see how well can I. एक दिन नहीं होगा, 2 दिन नहीं होगा, 3 दिन नहीं होगा, कभी तो होना चालू होगा. And go organic growth में, growth mode में. एक दिन में एक लाइन एक्स्ट्रा पढ़ो, दूसरे दिन में 2 लाइन एक्स्ट्रा पढ़ो, तीसरे में 3 लाइन एक्स्ट्रा पढ़ो, चौथे में एक क्वेश्चन एक्स्ट्रा करो. Don't don't push yourself to unnatural limits. Gradually get yourself around the natural timeline. GK, revise 1 month of current affair, do 50 static questions, whatever suits you. There should be a revision bucket. Weekly cycles of English, RC, CR, GK, legal, math, keep it rolling. So please make sure that you're giving each week, dedicate कर दो. This is English week. पूरा हफ्ता करो. ठीक है, फिर देखो जीके तो रोज करना है, तो जीके वीक का कुछ नहीं है. एक हफ्ता रखो सीआर वीक, डीआई वीक एंड देन लीगल वीक. ऐसे करो, फिर आओ अगले महीने. उस वीक को ऐसे टैग कर दो ना. गिव इट दैट कैपेसिटी. लेट इट फील स्पेशल. लेट दैट सब्जेक्ट फील स्पेशल. डेली स्ट्रैटेजी क्या होनी है? अब एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम आपको 6 से 7 घंटा तो प्रेप करना ही चाहिए. 6 से 7 घंटा कैसे आए? We have come to this hour count of 6 to 7 hours by being able to understand कि इतनी चीजें दिन में करनी है और इतना टाइम बंदे को लगना है. अगर मुझे पता है कि मॉक लगा है आपको 2 घंटे का, 2 घंटे की एनालिसिस तो आपको लगेगी. एनीथिंग लेस देन 2 hours you're cutting corners, क्योंकि 120 क्वेश्चंस को करने में लगेगा बॉस उतना टाइम. तुम 2-3 क्वेश्चन छोड़ सकते हो, बाकी तो तुम्हें करना ही होगा. एंड इफ यू आर एंड यू हैव टू लॉग द एरर्स आल्सो. आप 2 घंटे से कम में कैसे कर सकते हो? तो मैंने कहा 4 घंटे तो यही चलेगा. अब बचा 2 घंटा, और 2 घंटा प्रैक्टिस भी तो करोगे, 2 घंटा जीके भी तो पढ़ोगे. क्योंकि अगर आप ये नहीं कर, सी वी हैव नॉट कम टू दिस टाइम ऐसे ही. One did not get up and think that, oh, this is what I want to do. This is what has to be done. Your classes are there. There are so much. So whether you go to school or you don't go to school, this is a minimum given. You have to be doing this. Schools have become secondary now, guys. I know this is going to be like, ouch. स्कूल में MUN चल रहा है, ये चल रहा है, वो चल रहा है. आई नो स्कूल इज इम्पोर्टेंट. स्कूल इज लाइक अ डिफरेंट कल्चर ऑल टुगेदर. टीचर्स नहीं मानती, प्रिंसिपल नहीं मानती, पेरेंट्स नहीं मानती. बट now is the time for you to sit down and have the dining table talk with your parents that this is what it is. I am getting overwhelmed. What do I do? हफ्ते में 2 दिन मत जाओ स्कूल, वो 2 दिन क्लैट प्रेप को दे दो. वैसे भी वीकेंड्स ऑफ ही रहते हैं. You have to do that. Right? So this is going to be the bitter pill to swallow, and ये तो करना ही पड़ेगा. Just a sample day, 6:30 to 8:30, you can begin with the reading, the editorial notes and the GK review of the previous day. Whatever it is, एक revision करना जरूरी होता है. From 10 to 1, you can do 2 CLAT sectionals, an RC drill plus CR or legal practice, however that be. From 4 to 6, you can give a mock or a sectional test, or you can reduce the time here and go for a 2 p.m. here. Something that I am a very big, a fan of. 7 to 8:30, you're going to do an analysis, which is the most important. And then in the night, again, you're going to get back to GK. So start with GK, end with GK. And बीच का जो भी time है उसमें divide कर लो. If you think that मैं बहुत बोर हो रहा हूँ, इसमें हो नहीं हो रहा, तो एक section करके करो. It's important that you do that many number of sections. Every day you must touch at least 3 sections per plus GK. So it can be the 3 reading sections, CR, English, or legal, or this plus DI, or this plus DI, however you want to go ahead. But you must touch 3 sections. That is not negotiable at all. Monthly strategies. अब एक बार देखते हैं मंथली गोल्स क्या होने चाहिए आपके. फर्स्ट मंथ में, द फर्स्ट 30 days आप क्या करोगे? हेवी रिविजन, फुल लेंथ मॉक्स, फोकस ऑन स्पीड एंड स्टैमिना. गिव इट इतना, इतना अच्छे से उसको फुल डेडिकेशन के साथ दो, ताकि आपको पता रहे दैट इफ दिस वर योर क्लैट पेपर, दिस इज व्हाट यू वुड हैव डन. Don't take any mock going forward for granted. Treat it like the CLAT mock. Month 2, which is going to be the next 30 days that we have, you're going to target the weak zones ruthlessly, right? Which is what I meant by saying कि अगर मेरा main idea गलत है, मैं 50 क्वेश्चन कर रही हूँ, 50 क्वेश्चन कर रही हूँ. See, there are so many AI apps. Just ask ChatGPT to make 50 questions on main ideas. It will make. If you think these are very easy, just ask it to twist it up. It will do. Use the technology to your behest, guys. Don't just use it to write one-liner taglines. कि यार आज Instagram पे क्या डाले cool सी tagline. No, use it at your use it to your disposal. सेक्शनल डोमिनेंस आपका होना बहुत जरूरी है. मैंने इसके पहले एक वीडियो की थी. आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू ऑल हैव वॉच्ड इट, बट व्हाई सेक्शनल टाइम इंपॉर्टेंट. इफ यू हैव नॉट वॉच्ड इट, राइट आफ्टर दिस लाइव यू आर गोइंग टू गो एंड वॉच इट. देखो उसमें कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है सेक्शनल टाइमिंग. मैंने आपको डोमिनो इफेक्ट के बारे में बताया, विच अ लॉट ऑफ यू गाइस मस्ट बी सकमिंग टू. Raise the average mock score by 15 to 20. Every mock should increase now. The climb has to be upward. It cannot be a flat line. It cannot be going down. That's not right. And the last month is going to be, of course, the simulation mode, back-to-back mocks, exam hall practice, OMR drills, make the paper a habit. We'll talk about the last month because, of course, there'll be so many strategy videos that are going to come out. But one more very important detailing here. अगर आप एक ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट हो तो मॉक्स ऑफलाइन देना चालू कर दो. ओएमआर में मार्क कैसे करना है, ओएमआर की इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है, ओएमआर टाइम कितना लेता है, ये सब तो सीखना जरूरी है. राइट नाउ, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट ट्रिक्स टू बूस्ट मार्क्स. What are the kinds of things that you can do to be able to just get a mark here and there? क्योंकि इस समय like I said, एक एक दो दो नंबर ही मैटर करेगा. तो ऐसा क्या कर सकते हो कि एक मार्क इधर से आ जाए, एक नंबर उधर से आ जाए. Let's see. First, smart skipping. ब्रूटल रियलिटी चेक. 120 मार्क्स का आपका आता है पेपर, ठीक है. क्या आपको लगता है टॉपर 120 क्वेश्चंस करके आता है? नहीं. टेंडेंसी टॉपर की हमेशा ये होती है कि वो जो करता है वो 100% एक्यूरेसी से करता है. सो अगर मैंने आपको बोला कि मैं 90 आई एम अ टॉपर एंड मैंने 100 क्वेश्चन लगाए, मतलब मैंने 20 क्वेश्चन छोड़ दिए ना. आई हैव लेफ्ट 20 क्वेश्चंस. But those 100 that I've done with absolute guarantee. This is a difference between a normal performer and a topper. A topper is very confident of what he does because he knows what to leave and what not. We are driven by ego, on the other hand. We think that, no, how do we leave this? That one mark is not the decisive index. The time you waste is going to affect the other questions as well. Learn to leave. And you will have to leave. You're not expected to know everything. ऐसा तो हो ही नहीं सकता. कौन सा आज तक में कभी क्लैट की हिस्ट्री में 120 on 120, बैक व्हेन 150 का होता था 150 पे 150 आया है क्या कभी किसी का? देयर हैज बीन नो टॉपर लाइक दैट, नॉट टू माय नॉलेज एट लीस्ट, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. सो प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट यू बीइंग स्मार्ट अबाउट दैट. Toppers don't solve everything. They leave the traps and they focus on the accuracy. You underrate accuracy a lot. अगर आपने सिर्फ 100 क्वेश्चन किए या आपने चलो 105 क्वेश्चन किए, तो मतलब आपने 15 क्वेश्चन तो छोड़ दिए ना, पर वो 105 आपने फुल फोकस के साथ किए. तो अगर मैं डीआई हटा दूं फॉर एग्जांपल, तो आपने 2 घंटे में 4 सेक्शंस किए वर्सेस किसी ने जिसने 5 किए. इफ यू आर स्पेंडिंग मोर टाइम पर सेक्शन, योर एक्यूरेसी शुड गो हाई. Focus on the accuracy first. Second, a 20-minute rule. If a section is eating you alive, switch, don't sink. 20 मिनट हो गया, 25 मिनट हो गया, आप उसमें एकदम फंसे हुए हो, DIs. Please don't drown in it. Switch. If you think that this is not happening, leave it. Sometimes I always say, all what you need are a fresh pair of eyes. कभी कभी सामने लिखी गलती दिखती नहीं है या वो वर्ड दिखता नहीं, वो स्ट्राइक नहीं करता है, बिकॉज माइंड में इतना कमोशन हो जाती है. यू जस्ट वांट टू गेट डन विद दैट. एरर लॉग, मेंटेन अ नोटबुक ऑफ योर मिस्टेक्स, पैटर्न योर मिस्टेक्स. 5 मॉक का एनालिसिस एक बार में किया करो और उसको देखो किस टाइप की गलती हो रही है. टाइम ड्रिल्स करो, सॉल्व आरसीज, 3 आरसीज इन 30 minutes for starters. This is start. And then eventually slower it down. That is the time that you take, and it has to be 5 RCs in half an hour. Mock deconstruction. After every mock, identify the 5 questions that you guessed wrong. Note why you fell for that trap, and 5 marks lost, because that one thing is going to cost you about 500 ranks. It's true. For every one question that you do wrong, you drop so many ranks. So 1 mark लगता है, एक ही नंबर तो है. नंबर ऑफ एस्पिरेंट्स पता है क्लैट के कितने होते हैं? नंबर ऑफ रैंक्स पता है कितनी कम हो सकती है उसमें. Now, what do you do to handle weak sections? This is a very important segment of today's YT. जीके के लिए रिवर्स रिवीजन चालू कर दो. हमेशा बोला है जीके टॉप टू बॉटम नहीं होती, इट नीड्स टू गो इन द रिवर्स ऑर्डर. सो स्टार्ट फ्रॉम May 24 and okay, yeah, May 24 से and move. This is supposed to be, sorry, May 25, slip of finger. Move backwards. 2 months per week. By the day of CLAT, you would have revised it twice. 2 months per week. Go backward. आने वाला कोई बैकलॉग मत रखना. एंड पिकअप. कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा, समथिंग दैट आई से फिएस्टा के सारे टॉपिक्स को लिखो एंड डिवाइडेड बाय द नंबर, एट द नंबर ऑफ टॉपिक्स डिवाइडेड विद द नंबर ऑफ डेज दैट यू हैव इन थिंक, एक दिन में कितने करने हैं. अब समथिंग दैट आई वांटेड टू टॉक टू यू अबाउट, 28 क्वेश्चंस फॉर जीके. किसी को जीके में 28 तो आता नहीं है. आपको कितना लाना है? फर्स्ट कीप अ आई ऑन द गोल that if I want to get, say for example, 18 odd marks in GK, this is what I want, which means मुझे बाकी sections में थोड़ा cope up करना पड़ेगा because I'm leaving 10 marks over here. Now the moment I want 18 marks, I know that क्या पूरे के पूरे 18 lame topics से questions आएंगे? नहीं. Hot, controversial, important topics से तो आएंगे ही आएंगे. उनको तो prepare कर लो. Here is where the fiesta comes. So stop chasing backlogs. A lot of people are telling me, मैम हमारा टाइम जा रहा है बैकलॉग करने में. क्यों क्लासेस देख रहे हो इतनी? असाइनमेंट देखो क्लास में कौन सा हुआ है, सॉल्व इट इन हाफ एन आवर, फास्ट फॉरवर्ड करके आंसर देखो, जो गलत है उसका एक्सप्लेनेशन सुनो, खत्म. Who is asking you to see all the backlogs? I understand GK is important, but see again, a lot of times is repetition. Try and focus at this point of time to marathons. All the marathons that are happening, because they will do a wind up, they'll do a roundup of all things. CR, सबसे ज्यादा अटका हुआ सेक्शन आधे लोगों का. Focus on assumption, inference, strengthen and weaken. 70% of your paper is this. इससे ज्यादा आगे पीछे नहीं पूछते. 2-3 इंग्लिश बेस्ड क्वेश्चन पूछ लेंगे, समरी बता दो, जस्ट बता दो, मेन आइडिया बता दो. फिर उसके बाद जो पूछेंगे वो तो इतने मिनिमल नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चन है कि उनको छोड़ भी सकते. इनको तो स्ट्रेंथन कर लो पहले, इतना तो कर लो. These are the main question stems. English, practice chunk reading. चंक रीडिंग का मतलब होता है एक बार में 4-5 लाइंस पढ़ो और एंटिसिपेट करो उसका मीनिंग, फिर एक बार में 4-5 लाइंस पढ़ो. ऐसे करोगे ना तो 5 स्प्रिंट्स में पैसेज खत्म हो जाएगा. एक लाइन को नहीं पढ़ना है, 4-5 लाइंस को पढ़ो ताकि एक पूरा कंटेक्चुअल आइडिया हाथ में आता रहे. दिस कट्स द रीडिंग टाइम बाय 30%. नेक्स्ट, लीगल. Learn law of elimination. Usually 2 options are legally absurd. Slice them out fast. You have to know that most of the times, usually this is how it's going to be. 2 options तो इतने वाहियात होते हैं, उनको निकालो. फिर जो बचे हुए 2 है उसमें attention to detail matters. Quants, pick the high. 5 high probability topics. Ratio, average, percentage, graph, profit, loss, whatever it is. इन्हीं को कर लो. एक भी आए तो बनेगा. कुछ क्वेश्चन तो बनेंगे, सारे नहीं बनेंगे, कुछ तो बनेगा. 12 में 12 नहीं ला रहे हो, ठीक है, 12 में 8 तो आ रहे, 9 तो आ रहे. Chase the marks. Don't chase a sectional expertise at this point of time. Now, please, for another very important thing, change your attitude. We can't be those very cool, casual, lackadaisical people who are sitting and chilling now. Your attitude change is very important. Stop being a student, become a player. This is the first game, but this is the first earning point you need to have. You need to start thinking that this is something that you have to own, you have to win. This is no more a classroom setup that you have now. Every mock that you're doing, do it as if it is the CLAT day. Don't say I'll try, say I'll score and +5 than my last test. Make a score for yourself. Mock देने से पहले अपना एक score रखो. Write there that I want to get 95 in this mock, and then see where you're landing. Then see what has, caused you that gap. Which are the questions where you could have done better? These are learning arcs. If you don't set a goal for yourself, how do you? You might have a goal, right? You all want to become successful lawyers. What is it that you're going to do to reach that success? There has to be a plan. Because if that's not happening, then we are very short-sighted with our goals. Learn to love the paper. The more mocks you give, the more CLAT becomes your comfort zone. Don't run away from mocks. Another issue that a lot of students do, they're not writing mocks. Please write. Now, get serious. School versus CLAT. I know we've talked about this. School, sideline. CLAT, more important. Schools will always have exams. There will always be a lot of things happening in the school, but prioritize. These cool things will only get you a couple of accolades here and there, but CLAT will decide your destiny. So you need to set the priority right. Social detox. I know this is going to ache your hearts right now when I say this, but you just have 90 days. You'll have to now completely ghost the world. You should have those, you can have yourself those little times wherein you will feed yourself with a little bit of social media, but you can't be doing it extensively. No doom scrolling anymore. So it's just 3 months. Instagram, gaming, Netflix. No, postpone life for a while. Focus on CLAT. Have an accountability partner. Always have something that I'm a very big fan of, peer learning. Have somebody who's going to check on you. It could also be your mom's. Somebody who's going to be like, ये किया इतना किया, because when you're like, यार इसको जवाब देना है तो क्या देंगे, आता है अंदर से. Mindless body, 6 hours of sleep, 30 minutes of exercise. A dull brain is a negative machine. Don't get frustrated. Don't get consumed by negative emotions at this point of time. Push. What exactly is a topper's rough schedule? Always remember, they don't study 14 hours. Like I said, they don't slog with the syllabus. They study for 6 to 7 hours with 100% intensity. Their attention span has absolute clarity. They live by mocks. They breathe analysis. They don't cry over bad tests. They squeeze lessons from it. अगर कोई चीज गलत जाती है, they're like, अरे क्या होगा, उनका वो existential crisis नहीं चालू हो जाता है. They don't get into that, that entire sorrow journey. They see what else could they have done better, and they ensure that वो गलती तो ना करे कम से कम. They aim not for perfection, they aim for 1 mark higher every week. Just 1 mark higher per mock. पिछली बार जो गलती की वो नहीं करनी है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. So they always have an attitude of looking forward, right? So now this has been something which I've curated very, with a lot of my heart. So maybe this will help you. Now, the final push that I'd like to give you guys is CLAT is not about who studied the most, it's about who is the most exam ready. And the exam readiness does not just mean being able to solve the 5 sections, it's a lot of externalities also that you have to be equipped for. So imagine 100 days back you were learning, 90 days from now you'll be writing history, the most important day of your life. So every mock you give, every GK fact you revise, every trap you avoid is one step closer to your dream national. Right now, your mantra should be mocks are your battleground, PYQs are your weapon, revision is your shield, focus is your fuel, and CLAT 26 is mine. So this is how I think this note should be stuck up, so that every time, or maybe have your screensavers as that, so that every time you feel that the energy seems to be dying out, you can just read this and get pumped up again. So this was 90 days for you guys. If you're serious, really serious, you can flip your destiny, you can make wonders happen. But if that's not happening, you are not going to be able to be in the dream college that you have forever been dreaming of, right? Because as it is said, if not now, then when? If not you, then who? The NLS is waiting, guys. All what you have to do is just press on the pedal, shift the gears, get into study mode, and make sure that you are giving it your 100% based on the perfection, the accuracy, not mindlessly chasing all attempts. So that was my attempt to be able to tell you what your 90 days should look like. I hope I've been able to motivate you enough to get into the zone of it, to be able to gather yourself, introspect, find out what the mistakes are, where are you lagging, and understand the importance of these last 90 minutes that you have. Thank you so much, everybody, for giving me your valuable time. If you like the video, please do hit the like button. Share it with other friends as well who are struggling. And if there's anything that bothers you, please do write in the chat box so that I can attend to it and I can have a video around it so that it can help cater you. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you guys very soon next week with another video around it. But until then, please make sure that these at least are the kinds of things that you have habitually inculcated and that you're practicing. Once again, thank you so much.